In today's video, I'll be showing you how to make this hair shader inside of Blender. Before we start this tutorial, you're going to need an add-on called Node Wrangler. To enable Node Wrangler, go to Edit, Preferences, and then go down to Add-ons, and then type in Node Wrangler. And then check mark the box, and it should install for you. Let's start by making the cell shader for this hair. To make the cell shader, we're going to need a diffuse shader, a shader to RGB, color ramp, and a mix color, and then connect them like this. We're going to change the color ramp from linear to constant and drag the right slider to the left like this. We're also going to change the A and B color. The A is going to be the shadow of your hair, and the B is going to be the hair color. The next part of the shader, we're going to make the hair gradient. To make the gradient, we're going to need a gradient texture. And using Node Wrangler, we're going to Control T to add in the mapping. And we're also going to need a mix color and a color ramp. Connect them like this. And then focus color ramp with Control Shift left click with Node Wrangler. Let's drag these sliders together and change it from linear to ease. And as you can see, it's not rotated correctly, so we're going to rotate it with the Y about 90 degrees and move it up with the X, and just adjust to your liking. Once we're done with that, I'm going to drag down the mix color and drag in the result to A and result to surface. Once you're done with that, we're going to change the B to the hair gradient color. And as you can see, there's a subtle hair gradient from the top. The next part will be the transparency of the bangs. To make the transparency, we need a mix shader, a gradient, and using Node Wrangler, we're going to add the mapping again, and a color ramp. We're going to go to the gradient texture and change it from linear to spherical, and then focus the color ramp with Control Shift left click. Now we're going to adjust the sphere to the middle of the hair. Looks like negative 0.5 works well for me. And then we're just going to drag the Y to move it to the front of the bangs. And now we're going to drag the color into the factor and add in a new shader called Transparent BSDF. And then connect the mix shader to the surface. And as you can see, it's already working, but it's very spotty. So to fix that, we're going to go to Settings, in Material, click on your material, go to Settings, and Render Method from Dithered to Blended, and make sure you check off Transparent Shadows and Transparency Overlap. And you have your transparent bangs working. I'm going to adjust it a little bit. And there we go. We're going to organize it a little bit. We're going to move the mask down here. Okay. Next part will be the hair highlights. So you're going to need a gradient and Control T to add in the mapping, color ramp, and a mix color. Connect them like this, and make sure you change the gradient from linear to spherical. And same thing with the transparent bangs. We're going to focus the color ramp and align it. But this time we're going to push it up. And make sure you center it with the hair. And once you center it and push it up, it looks something like this. And we will duplicate this. And then we're gonna drag the color from the duplicate into B. And then focus the mix color with Control Shift left click. Also drag the A color to black. It's not a ring yet, but once you invert the color from the color ramp on the duplicate, you can see that the ring is forming. I'm also going to change the color ramp from linear to ease for both. And I'm also going to make the front bangs bigger, but the side burns smaller. So to do that, we're going to change the scale. And then realign it. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to move these a little bit to make more space, and then add in another color ramp. And then we're going to drag this mask to the factor, and then focus the main shaders. Adjust the color to your liking. You can see it a little bit, but it's not really clear. So let's just make it more concentrated up here. Okay, it's working. As you can see, the hair highlight is affecting even the shadows. So to fix that, we're going to go to the mix color for the hair highlights and add in another mix color, and go back to the cell shader color ramp and drag it to the factor. Same thing with this mix color. The A will be the shadow of your hair highlights, and B will be the color of the hair highlights. Okay, now that you have your hair highlights done, let's move on to the rim lights. To make the rim lights, you're going to need a mix color again, a Fresnel, color ramp, and connect them like this. Let's move it to make more space. And then we're going to drag the Fresnel to somewhere between 0.9 and 0.8 and squeeze these together. And there we go, we have your hair rim lights, but it's affecting even the shadows, so let's fix that. We're going to do the same thing we did with the hair highlights. Duplicate the mix color, plug the result to B, and go to the cell shader color ramp, put it to the factor, and then use the result of the hair highlights as your A, and B will be whatever color your hair rim lights will be. As you can see, it's working. Wow. And that concludes the basics of this hair shader. But as a bonus, I'm going to show you how to make more details for your hair highlights. So we're going to go up to the hair highlights mask, and we're going to group it to organize it a little bit more. You could tab in and out with tab. Okay, to make the details, we're going to need a multiply color and a Voronoi texture. We're going to plug the distance of the Voronoi texture to B, and then crank the multiply to somewhere between 0.9 and 0.8. We're also going to add a color ramp for control. And then just move the slider. Changes ease. And As you can see, there's way more details and I prefer it this way. And there we go, we have your basic hair shader finished.